The Enemy by Pearl S. Buck. CBSE Class 12 English Vistas. Overview. The Enemy is a short story set during World War II in Japan. It explores themes of duty, humanity, and patriotism through the conflict faced by Dr. Sadao Hoki, a Japanese surgeon who finds himself torn between his loyalty to his country and his obligation as a doctor to save a wounded enemy soldier. This is a thought-provoking story that challenges the reader to consider the weight of personal ethics versus national duty. Dr. Sadao's final act of letting the American go reflects his belief in humanity above political divisions. Plot summary. Dr. Sadao and his wife Hannah discover a wounded American soldier on the shore near their home. They are immediately faced with a moral dilemma: should they save him as a doctor or turn him over to the authorities as loyal Japanese citizens? Despite knowing the risks, Dr. Sadao decides to treat the soldier's severe gunshot wound. The household servants disapprove and leave the house in protest. Hannah struggles with fear, but she supports her husband's choice. Dr. Sadao carefully nurses the soldier back to health, knowing that if the authorities discover him, they could be arrested or even executed. Dr. Sadao informs the general about the situation, expecting to be punished. However, the general, who values Dr. Sadao's medical skills, promises to send assassins to kill the soldier discreetly. When the assassins never arrive, Dr. Sadao realizes he must take matters into his own hands. He secretly helps the American escape by providing him with a boat, food, and instructions to reach safety. The story ends with Dr. Sadao reflecting on why he couldn't bring himself to kill the soldier despite considering him the enemy. Characters. Dr. Sadao Hoki, a skilled Japanese surgeon and scientist trained in America. He is torn between his duty as a doctor and his loyalty to Japan during World War II. Hannah Hoki, Dr. Sadao's devoted wife, who struggles with fear but ultimately supports her husband's moral decision to save the enemy soldier. The American soldier, Tom, a young, wounded American prisoner of war who washes up on the Japanese shore. He is weak, vulnerable, and terrified, but grateful to Dr. Sadao. The general, a high-ranking Japanese officer who values Dr. Sadao's medical skills. He offers to have the American soldier assassinated, but later forgets about it due to his own health concerns. Yumi, the Hoki family's maid and caretaker of the children. She refuses to help the American soldier, showing strong nationalistic views. The old gardener, a loyal but superstitious servant who believes that helping the enemy will bring misfortune. The cook, a servant in Dr. Sadao's household who disapproves of keeping the enemy soldier and eventually leaves in protest. Main themes. Moral conflict and humanity. Dr. Sadao struggles between his loyalty to Japan and his ethical duty as a doctor. His decision highlights the universal values of compassion and humanity even in times of war. Patriotism versus individual morality. The story questions blind loyalty to one's country, showing that human life transcends nationalistic hatred. Prejudice and war. The American soldier represents the enemy, yet Dr. Sadao realizes that he is just a scared young man, not much different from himself. Fear and survival. Both Dr. Sadao and the American soldier are trying to survive in their own ways, one by saving a life, the other by escaping. Power and corruption. The general's selfishness shows how those in power prioritize personal needs over duty, highlighting the flaws in leadership during war. Vocabulary. Advanced vocabulary. Staunch, to stop the flow of blood. Inert, lacking the ability to move. Vigilance, the action of keeping careful watch for danger. Repulsion, a strong feeling of dislike or disgust. Subdued, quiet and rather reflective or depressed. Ruthless, without pity or compassion. Feeble, lacking strength. Gaunt, thin and weak, often due to suffering. Superficial, existing on or affecting only the surface. Zeal, passionate enthusiasm for a cause. Comprehension, understanding something fully. Fortifying, strengthening for defense. Prejudice, unfair opinion not based on reason or experience. Brusquely, in a blunt, direct manner. Slatternly, untidy and dirty, often referring to a woman. Dereliction, failure to fulfill one's duties. Medical and war-related terms. Anesthetic, a drug that prevents pain during surgery. Incision, a precise surgical cut. Hypodermic, relating to the injection under the skin. Wound packing, the process of stopping bleeding by filling the wound. Surgeon's emergency bag, a doctor's essential medical kit. Fortifying an island, strengthening a place for military defense. Prisoner of war, a soldier captured by the enemy. Read and find out. Question 1. Who was Dr. Sadao? Where was his house? Answer. Dr. Sadao was a Japanese surgeon and scientist who studied medicine in America. His house was located on a rocky Japanese coastline, overlooking the sea. Question 2. Will Hannah help the wounded man and wash him herself? Answer. Yes. When the servant Yumi refuses to wash the American soldier, Hannah overcomes her fear and does it herself, showing her growing compassion. Question 3. What will Dr. Sadao and his wife do with the man? Answer. Dr. Sadao and Hannah initially planned to hand him over to the police but later decide to secretly treat him and help him escape. Question 4. Will Dr. Sadao be arrested on the charge of harboring an enemy? Answer. No, Dr. Sadao is not arrested because the general values his medical skills and does not report his actions. Question 5. What will Dr. Sadao do to get rid of the man? Answer. Dr. Sadao arranges for the American soldier to escape by providing him with a boat, food, and directions to a nearby island, ensuring his safety. Reading with insight. Question 1. There are moments in life when we have to make hard choices between our roles as private individuals and as citizens with a sense of national loyalty. Discuss with reference to the story you have just read. Answer. In The Enemy, Dr. Sadao faces a difficult moral dilemma. As a doctor, he is bound by his duty to save lives, but as a Japanese citizen, he is expected to hand over an enemy soldier. His private conscience urges him to treat the wounded man, while national loyalty dictates that he should report him. Ultimately, his sense of humanity prevails, and he secretly helps the soldier escape. The story highlights how personal ethics can sometimes conflict with national duty, forcing individuals to make challenging choices. Question 2. Dr. Sadao was compelled by his duty as a doctor to help the enemy soldier. What made Hannah, his wife, sympathetic to answer him in the face of open defiance from the domestic staff? Answer. Hannah, though initially fearful, supports Dr. Sadao because she trusts his judgment and believes in his principles. Her sympathy grows as she sees the soldier's helpless state, and despite her reservations, she helps nurse him. When the servants protest and leave, she does not abandon the soldier, showing her inner strength and moral integrity. Her love for Sadao and her own compassion enable her to stand by him despite the risks. Reading with insight continued. Question 3. How would you explain the reluctance of the soldier to leave the shelter of the doctor's home even when he knew he couldn't stay there without risk to the doctor and himself? Answer: the American soldier, Tom, is weak and recovering from a near-fatal wound. He understands the danger he poses to Dr. Sadao, yet he is terrified of what awaits him outside. He knows that being captured means certain death, making the doctor's house his only refuge. His reluctance also reflects his trust in Sadao, who saved him despite considering him an enemy. Question 4. What explains the attitude of the general in the matter of the enemy soldier? Was it human consideration, lack of national loyalty, dereliction of duty, or simply self-absorption? Answer: the general's attitude is primarily driven by self-absorption. He is not particularly loyal to his country, but prioritizes his own survival. He values Dr. Sadao's skills and does not want to risk losing his personal surgeon. Though he promises to send assassins, he ultimately forgets, proving that his main concern is his own well-being rather than duty or humanity. Reading with insight, continued. Question 5. While hatred against a member of the enemy race is justifiable, especially during wartime, what makes a human being rise above narrow prejudices? Answer: a strong moral conscience, empathy, and personal experience help individuals rise above prejudice. Dr. Sadao, despite his ingrained beliefs about Americans, recognizes the soldier's humanity. His medical training, which teaches him to save lives regardless of nationality, helps him make an ethical choice. War may encourage hatred, but individual kindness and ethical principles can transcend it. Question 6. Do you think the doctor's final solution to the problem was the best possible one in the circumstances? Answer: yes. Dr. Sadao's decision to help the soldier escape was the best solution. Handing him over to the authorities would have led to his execution. Keeping him indefinitely would have put Sadao's family at risk. By ensuring his safe departure, Sadao upholds both his professional duty and his personal morals while avoiding punishment from his government. Question 7. Is there any film you have seen or novel you have read with a similar theme? Answer: a similar theme can be found in Schindler's List, where Oskar Schindler, a German businessman, helps save Jewish workers during the Holocaust despite being a Nazi Party member. Like Dr. Sadao, he chooses humanity over blind nationalism, risking his life to save those considered enemies by his country. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe our channel for more educational content like this.